All right, all right. Mic check. Check. Mic good. Can everybody hear me all right? Cool. A little bit more? Is that better? Too high, too high. Cool. Hopefully that's better. Let's see, how's it gain on here? There we go. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. Check, check. Cool. That's better, I think.
I think it's better. Keep going.
All right, cool. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to DEVxSD. Gosh, great crowd. Who here is new to DevX? Raise your hand. Cool. A lot of newcomers. Awesome. I take it who here has heard of OpenClaw? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that explains it. For those of you who are new, welcome. My name is Samuel Holmes. I'm one of the organizers of the event, co-founder of DevX. So I'm glad that you're here and with us. And yeah, so a little bit about what DevX is about. We're a community of like-minded developers in San Diego, mainly focused on open source projects, but sharing, learning, and growing with each other. And we really focus our goal on connecting developers together at any skill level. So that means like if you're completely new and you want to get in development, we're here for you. We want to get people in to this space, and especially with OpenClaw, I think that could not be any more relevant than it is today. Our other goal is to inspire innovation by giving you a platform, a voice to voice your ideas, such as the stage, different venues like this, so that way you can get up here, give talks and presentations. So we're completely community focused on that. And the last thing we focus on is building together, whether that be like your own open source project, your own starter project, or something that you're working on with a company. We're here to help you through it. Maybe it might be the next big thing, who knows? A little bit about our volunteers. Big shout out to AJ, who's DJing in the back right now. Angel, where are you? In the corner, cool. Jonathan, where are you? Jonathan's eating some pizza. And then the very bright and colorful Ezekiel. Hey! And then myself, Sam Holmes. Big shout out to you guys for making this possible. Appreciate you guys. As well, I'd like to thank our host for today, Edge. Edge is the #1 crypto platform here in San Diego. They focus on building a wallet platform to self-custody your cryptocurrency and different crypto assets. They also focus on security, privacy, and exchange functionality all within the app. Full disclosure, I am one of the employees here. I'm a senior software engineer at Edge, so a little biased here, but definitely a great app. Check us out at edge.app. As well, notable to mention, because we're all developers, Edge is fully open source, so you can check that out as well at github.com/edgeapp. That's the org. So feel free to poke around, contribute, maybe point your OpenClaw to it. No, I'm kidding. Go wild. But big thanks to them for the space today. A little bit about the facilities. The Wi-Fi is Edge guest, and the password is I like big bits. It's all lowercase. You'd think it'd be all uppercase, but there it is. Restrooms are out the exit if you guys haven't already found them. Make a left all the way back down to the end of the hall, and there should be no door code, but if it is locked, 1595 is the door code. So, cool. Our agenda today is pretty simple. We got 1 o'clock. We started a little bit late. We'll start our speaker presentations. After we have some really good speakers today, I should say. Not a plug. And then after that, we'll do a little community announcements for you guys to say hi, share what you're all about, why you're here, say hello to the community, and maybe find that other person that you want to connect to. And then the rest of the day, around 2:15, we'll do network and build. So if you brought your laptop, cool. We have tables over here. Feel free to post up and start working with others or working on your own thing. This space is basically ours for until 4 when we close. So. With that said, we have two speakers today. The first speaker will be Keith Groves. He'll be talking about Enact. This is a little bit probably of a dated title, but NPM for Agentic Era. Probably, I think he mentioned that he wanted to focus more on skills and things like that. But there's a lot he's wanting to share there, so I'll leave it to him to go into detail. And then after that, I'll be presenting on how to set up OpenClaw, which is probably one of the more exciting things that we're all here, and all ties together into like NPM and all that. So with that said, I'd like to welcome Keith to start and present Enact. So big warm welcome. Mic check.
Cool. Mic check.
Right, feel free to
All right.
get set up.
Cool. All right, thank you so much. I really appreciate this opportunity to talk about what I've been working on for the past, I don't know, quite a while now. So I don't know, who's working in the AI space, like building something with AI, right? No. Right, and so what you find is you're building things as the ground moves beneath you, things change, the landscape changes. And so definitely this has been a journey. Is that gonna? When I started, there was no MCP, no OpenClaw, obviously.
Do you need this?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Do you want it like that?
That's fine, yeah.
You can feel free to use the remote.
Good zoom in. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about agent skills, and so what I built is something called Enact, and it's an agent skills platform. So how many of you guys know what agent skills are? A few of you guys? Cool. So I think this will be cool to kind of introduce you to agent skills. So in my opinion, we're moving through a new phase where we're going from a click through UI to the point where agents can do things for us and we don't have to interact as much, right? I think Anthropic describes agents as able to, and I think it's perfect to juxtapose it to workflows, where we have workflows, it's good, like a predefined path, like do one task, then another, then another. In the case of agents, we have them maintain control over how they accomplish tasks, right? So that's kind of the goal. And what I set out to do with Enact is to make an agent that can maintain control and use the task that it wants, right? Use the tools that it wants, right? Okay, so it's helpful, I think, to think of agents in 3 different pillars. So when you have an LLM, it doesn't really do much but output text, right? Then you can add in another layer, which is tools and execution. So MCP is a common way to execute tools now, a protocol. We also have, and then we have CLI tools that you can use in Claude Code and everything. And so that opens up this door of possibilities, right? And then on this side, we have knowledge and memory, and we're going to be focusing on skills, which basically tell you how to use the tools, right? So it makes your agents super powerful. The reasoning and planning is done by the LLM itself, right? And user. So yeah, how many, have you guys used MCP? Anybody heard of MCP? Okay, cool. Model Context Protocol. So interestingly, MCP is now adapting to support skills as a primitive as well. Okay, so the way skills work is when your agent loads up, it knows some limited information. This is called the front matter, right? So in this case, I don't know if you guys do crypto here, but like maybe a skill would be like called wallet lookup, right? And we would have the description like, okay, look up a balance in transaction history, right? So the agent would go based off this information, and then the model decides whether to use this tool or not, right? Cool. Hey, can one of you guys grab my water over there? Cool. All right, and then we have the body. So this kind of explains exactly how to do this, execute this tool. And you can see here, this is executing a Python script. Obviously, the model will need to have access to a tool that can execute some command line script, right? And so it does make that assumption, but now the agent knows how to use the tool and it can go through that, assuming it does have access to Python. Okay, and in addition, we have like actual code that we can run and other docs and references, right? So let me back up. So basically skills is a folder that has this markdown file. And that's kind of the beauty of what skills offers, is it's just really simple, right? People were trying to make multiple protocols, myself included, that were much more complicated. And here we have just a really simple thing. All the model really needs is a description, right? And so that's kind of what makes it so powerful. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. All right. So with that said, it's not perfect, right? So Vercel recently wrote an article where they did some benchmark tests, and they found that the pass rate with no skills for their particular task, which in this case was to look up documentation and stuff, on different coding languages like modern, like how to use the latest Next.js or something like that. With skills, with that, just by default, if they added skills, it had a 53% pass rate, same thing. So not much improvement at all. And then when they explicitly told it, like the model, hey, you need to use skills, the pass rate went up, right? And then we have the agent MD, where, how many are you familiar with agent.md? So an agent.md file is just like a file you put in your project. You give it to your agent, and it has some background information about what you're trying to do with the project. They found that just using the agent MD was way more effective, right? Okay, and that's because skills are pretty new, and the models aren't really good at utilizing them at present. So, but that doesn't mean skills are not extremely valuable. In fact, I think they're the future, right? Because skills can be dynamically discovered, right? So if you say, hey, agent, order me an Uber or something like that, right? It's not gonna know how to do that out of the box. It's not gonna be in your agent.md. It can go and fetch that, discover that capability, and then order you an Uber, right? Agents, or agent skills is their full name. They also include executable code, right? Usually just a script in a script folder. It's sort of convenient that it's packaged in one thing. So like, for example, ordering an Uber is one packaged skill that you could use. And then you can use it across all your agents. So it's very portable, right?
Does the agent.md file, is it like a directory to other skills, to like sub-skills, or do you put everything in the agent.md file?
It's generally like everything. It's like a system prompt for ChatGPT, like, hey, this is everything in my project, yeah. So yeah, guys, ask questions. That's really cool. That's really helpful.
Can you repeat the questions too for the stream?
Oh, sure. Yeah, and what he just asked is, what does an agent.md do, right? Is that good enough or something? Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna rag on skills a little bit more. They can be very dangerous, right? So they're, after me, we're gonna be talking about OpenClaw. There was 341 malicious skills found in their marketplace, right? Because they're telling the AI agent to install like certain malware and things like that. So they have to be trusted. The skills that you use on your computer because it's a folder with executable code, just like installing a malicious program could have pretty bad consequences, right? Okay.
Have you found safe repos, safe places where you can trust the skills? I know like Anthropic just released a skill store. But have
Yeah.
you found another place that
I wouldn't trust any place except Enact. So, yeah, no place but Enact. Okay, but yeah, no, there is other registries, ClawHub, and also Vercel just released their own skill.sh, but they're terrible. Don't even check it out. So yeah, so that's what I built with Enact. Is I'm utilizing SigStore, which is an open initiative to secure these packages of code, right? So SigStore is already being used in NPM and things like that to show like all the changes and when any like time Microsoft, for example, publishes a package, it'll say where that package came from, how it got to NPM, and it'll be signed by them, right? So yeah, so my platform, Enact, stops a lot of these issues with, doesn't stop all of them. This is a cat and mouse game. But it stops some of the issues with security by blocking unsigned publishers. So each package that you publish is signed and somebody you trust, right? And you decide who you trust. It's containerized, so it's not gonna, well, it's optional, but it's recommended that when you execute these tools that they're in sort of sandboxed situation. And then you can give it attestation, like if you have a trusted auditor and they believe that this tool is safe, they can attest to it, and you can trust that attestation if you want, if you trust them. So, okay, so yeah, so Enact is kind of like a packaging layer on Skills, so it makes Skills even more portable. You can publish it to a registry, it's package it, and you can actually search them. So you can search for, like I mentioned before, like you're searching for Uber, and then you can sign your own packages, like I trust this one, I'm gonna sign it, right? And maybe people trust you, that the fact that you signed it, and they can decide to trust it as well. So I'll show an example of that in a minute. But yeah, so this is kind of the package file. It just looks like a package.json if you guys use NPM. But really importantly, we add some namespace so you know who the publisher is, right? And only that publisher can publish to that namespace. We have a build step, so you can do more advanced code in your skill. So skills kind of like are currently designed just to be scripts, but in this case, you could build more complex projects with multiple dependencies and get it running. It also declares any environment variables that you might be using. So if you can't execute this tool without a specific variable initialized, your agent will let you know, or Enact will let you know. So yeah, and then you can also have sort of preset scripts so you can execute them with the Enact runtime too. So those are some advantages, right? Okay, yeah, so with Enact, you can fetch it. How many of you guys use like npm install? So it's very like inspired by that flow. So you can, once you install it, it'll verify the signatures. And then when you execute it, it'll be isolated and containerized. And your secrets are limited to a specific namespace, so you don't lose your environment variables to some malicious skill, right? So yeah, these are the steps we're taking to make it more secure. So here's like an example. So like your agent might be using the Enact CLI. So Enact would just search for like Stripe payments, right? And then it finds, oh, Stripe checkout, that's the top result. And then after that, it can install it, check the signatures, and then it can learn, which is to actually learn the skill, like what does it do, how does it work? And then even if there's a script, it can actually execute it using the enact runtime. So, and that also makes sure it's secure and sandboxed. So, yeah, so this is an open source project, and it's just kind of like based on my vision of the future, where we have all these capabilities that we can search and fetch and execute and enable agents to be super autonomous. But there is huge hurdles with security that we have to overcome. So if you guys want to join me in this project, you can join our Discord, and you can also check out or publish your own tools to enact.tools. We are already working with some clients to do private registries, so they can offer their registries in-house. And also, I'm working with a crypto company called Your Labs that wants to make it so their customers can use some of their features via Enact. So, yeah, thank you so much for letting me tell you about this project, and I'm happy to take any questions about skills or anything. So, thank you.
All right, everyone. We're taking questions.
Yeah.
So a security question on the attestation. How are you managing the names? For example, if I claim to be Microsoft,
Yeah.
how do you check that I actually am or am not?
Right now, you do have to trust our platform because we won't let you publish to the platform. And then, but yeah, we are, SigStore does publish the signatures. So, but it does require you to trust the platform currently. So, but if you have ideas to get around that, that's interesting.
We have another question here.
What do you mean by use Enact's features, that crypto company? Like, how are they going to use Enact's features?
Yeah, so Bureau Labs, they want to make it so like in OpenClaw, people can install additional skills that allow them to like swap ETH to Bitcoin. Honestly, it sounds kind of scary, but that's kind of the experiment we're going with. So, yeah, but it is more secure with Enact because you're not going to be leaking your private keys or whatever. So,
See a question here in the back.
So we first had MCPs, and then there's this movement towards skills. It doesn't look like skills are going to go anywhere because they're a lot more stripped down. Is there anything you see on the horizon that's kind of like now trying to make a move in that space after skills?
after skills, I know that you have Kiro Powers is also very similar ideas to skills, but yeah, I don't know. I think so. So you mentioned MCP. What did you say about MCP? Can you repeat that?
Like, it was the first thing that we really had, right, as a
Yeah.
tool call. And then that sort of got simplified down to skills.
Right.
You know, so I'm wondering, like, the space is moving so fast. Do you see anything that, like, is going to be the next thing outside of skills?
Yeah. I would say that MCP isn't like out for the count. It still does what it does well. It's a way to interface with LLMs and provide tool execution. So go.
Skill call an MCP. Yes.
What? A skill can call an MCP, and an MCP can call a skill. So it's, yeah, either one can execute each other. So I know that some people are starting to put like a JSON file with their MCP configuration in skills, and then also, yeah, MCP is. I'm actually actively working with the group, the MCP contributors, to enable skill use via MCP too, and they're making a lot of progress. So,
Are there more questions?
Just as far as like participation, it seems if it's open source,
Yeah.
If it's open source, maybe the more participants, the more healthy the project is.
Yeah.
Are attestations like stackable? Like, can you get multiple? I'm like driving towards a reputation system here, but is that something that
Yeah.
you're like trying to cultivate with more participation on the platform?
Yeah, I think it's like, I mean, I think making a platform is pretty much impossible because of the chicken egg situation. But that's the like kind of vision, is that we would have multiple attestations from really trusted entities. I think likely where I'm going to get traction is with people who want private registries or just want their own in-house registries initially. But hopefully, you know, it'll come to that. But yeah, definitely big hurdles there.
Do you think the skill can be building into the agents like the ChatGPT, the Cloud Code, natively? And if they start to, like the big companies start to building the skill natively in the agents, what's the point of this platform?
So like, if I understand, I think skills are already able to be used in Claude Code and in Claude and ChatGPT, right?
So my problem is, if they just build in the skill and you don't need to like install the skill yourself, and they if you want to do something, you just call it to agents and they automatically give you a skill like officially the skill provided by ChatGPT, the OpenAI or something like that.
Yeah, I think I think that's like they're gonna have their own solutions, and I know I haven't seen them create their own like registry of skills yet. I'm sure that's like in the pipeline, but that's just part of the struggle of working in this space. Like they're probably gonna make an offering. I know that Anthropic does allow you to like publish skills in their servers and pull them down as well. Does that answer your question? Like, yeah. Yeah, so I think there'll be like official skills for sure, but you know, this is a current problem and we're solving it. We'll see what happens if we focus on it and make it secure. Yeah.
What's the most impressive thing you've seen an agent do yet?
The most impressive thing I've seen an agent do, I think some of these open Claude like presentations are really blowing my mind sometimes, like where they have, you know, I don't think it's like really substantial, but they're like just controlling multiple phones and that sort of thing. But you know, I think just because we haven't seen like super compelling demos, it's clear that like from my experience that this is where the future's going, is like, you know, for example, like I don't use Google that much anymore, right? I'm constantly just having conversations with ChatGPT. So like that's replaced search in a way, right? An agent has replaced search. So I guess that could be the answer to your question, just like replacing search. Yeah.
It's more like curiosity. You said that agents were going to replace like GUIs a little bit. How do you see that done with like a really big application like Instagram?
Yeah, I think like Instagram is probably one where you want to look at, but there's a lot of like things, like a lot of types of software that we don't really, we look at it because we have to, like scheduling software and things like that. Like if everything's scheduled and agents are managing all of our, you know, meetings for DevX or something, we're not going to use the UI as much, right? So that's those kind of things. I think things that we like looking at, like pictures and scrolling through that kind of stuff, we'll definitely still continue to have.
So can agents interact like directly to Enact?
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
yeah.
Can they publish their own skills to Enact like autonomously?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, they could. Yeah, they could make their own skills and Skynet next thing. Yeah. Cool. Hey, well, I think I really appreciate you guys giving me a chance to talk about this project, and if anybody's interested, please reach out or join the Discord or whatever. And yeah, and if you guys have any questions on skills or anything like that, I'm happy to answer. So,
Thank you very much. Round of
thank
applause.
you. Thanks, man.
Up next, we have Sam Holmes talking about lobsters.
Speaking of Skynet, right? Make sure that that mic is treating us well as well. All right, get your claws ready, guys. All right. Awesome stuff, Keith. Yeah. So, all right, you all know who I am. But for the stream, in case people are coming in late, I'm Sam. I'll be presenting on setting up OpenClaw. First, just a couple show of hands. I just wanted to get a gauge of our audience here. How many of you are like developers? Like, okay, cool. And how many of you are like starting to be a developer? Maybe not quite, wouldn't consider yourself, but you're on your way. Cool, cool. All right, so we got a good crowd that's pretty technical, which is awesome. But I'll try to keep pace. One other question I had, how would you guys feel if I go through the talk kind of walking through the setup as I go through the slides? Would that make more sense, or do you want to just see slides kind of demo as well? Okay. It will take a bit longer, but it might be more informative and useful, though demo gods can really throw a monkey wrench, so we'll do our best. How about that? Cool. All right. So yeah, by the end of this, I hope this really kind of lands as a guide for you guys to get started with OpenClaw. Final question, how many of you guys have set up OpenClaw already? Okay, few show of hands. All right, so the rest of the audience, this is for you, this is great. But maybe some tips for you guys as well. Maybe you said, oh crap, I didn't do that, and then I'll check it out later. So we'll go through quick, what is OpenClaw? You probably already know. So we'll breeze through that, then go through the architecture here, and then setup, and then we'll try to demo something. All right, so let's see here. What is OpenClaw? We all know this. Super popular project. 100,000 GitHub stars in 3 days. Created by Peter Steinberger, sorry. I might be botching his name as well. Sorry, Peter. So he's pretty famous now for starting this. It connects to WhatsApp, Discord, Slack, to pretty much any endpoint you want. And there are people creating plugins and things like that. It's like an AI agent that you can communicate with. But it is not magic. It's basically just inputs, queues, and routes to them. So the 5 inputs and why it feels alive. It's not autonomous. It's reactive to events you've configured. So the events include messages, right? What you're chatting with on WhatsApp. Heartbeats, which is like a routine 30-minute, 10-minute, whatever you configure, a routine check-in. And it is a particular file that you would write to say, hey, do this thing every 30 minutes. So it kind of keeps it alive, a heartbeat. Cron jobs, which are scheduled times in which to check in with the agent. Maybe that is, send you, this is an example of someone who was set, text my wife every morning at 8 a.m. There's a little famous story of a guy who did that. That would be a cron job, 8 a.m., text my wife. And hooks, which are like internal events within the system that you can then say, all right, I want this prompt to go into my agent whenever a certain event happens within OpenClaw. Webhooks are more of the external events. I won't go too far into that, but they're there for triggering some sort of thing on the web happened, and that service on the web is then going to call into your OpenClaw, right? External to your it's also multi-agent, for those of you who probably haven't gotten too far into it, and it has memory. What that means is agents, you can have more than one agent inside of a box or a machine, and they can also communicate with each other. Each agent has its own workspace, work files, memory, and things like that, but they can be set up to communicate, collaborate, and do research together. with their own personalities as well. They also have their memory, as I mentioned, and memory is just stored markdown files. For anyone kind of wondering how that works, it's just basically text files that it maintains and it keeps a record of every day in a memories directory. It doesn't necessarily learn like a human. Some people think it's like, oh, it's going to take over the world. It's Skynet. It's learning really quickly and rapidly. It depends. It depends on how you use, how you set it up. But it's not going to retain everything because of this inherent nature of having to write to memory files, and then those memory files don't always get read. These sorts of drawbacks make it apparent that it's not always going to work exactly as you expect it, like a human. But its capabilities and shortcomings are improving at a rapid rate. Just a quick mention, I think Peter Steinberg recently mentioned how there was like 3,000 pull requests on OpenClaw repo alone. And he couldn't really do anything about like manually reviewing this with alignment to the project, so he had to do alignment docs and things like that to just like start cutting off some of these PRs that shouldn't make it in. So it's just moving really quickly and it's developing really quickly. You keep it updated is a good routine thing for you to do. So yeah, fixes and faster development every day. So this is a bit of a serious slide I shouldn't skip. OpenClaw can run shell commands. It can read and write files and control your browser. It basically has full access to your whole machine. So this is a big disclaimer that when setting up OpenClaw, you definitely want to think about giving it its own thing, its own computer, its own environment, not trying to run it on your machine. And give it its own logins, its own credentials, things like that. Don't necessarily give it access to your Amazon account, although I might be guilty of that. Cisco research mentioned in a study, recent study, very recent because everything's very recent, 26% of the 31,000 available skills contained at least one vulnerability inside of, I think, the ClawHub skills directory, which meant that there was a lot of prompt injection and things like that. A lot of people were vulnerable on the earlier time. This has gotten a lot better, and it's one of the main focuses or vision that Peter's working on within OpenClaw is security first more than features. I think that's a good way to move forward. But again, move at your own risks. The threats are real. Prompt injection via email, if you give it access to an email. Maybe not your email, but a email. And if someone knows, hey, I can get into the system if I just email them. Discord is another place. If you put it on a live Discord channel, people are interacting with it. Prompt injection could happen there as well. Malicious marketplace. Credentials can get exposed, so be aware of what credentials are on the machine or what it's ever seen. Try to scrub anything from it that if you accidentally put it on there. But at the end of the day, there's no perfect security. This is the only really good security, right? So this is a well understood truth in cybersecurity that not too many people are familiar with. They think, oh, it's got to be secure or not, right? It's not a black and white. It's a little bit more of a spectrum. You want to try to get as far to the secure state as possible, but you'll never be fully secure. So keep that in mind as you move forward. And this is exactly why one of the ways we're going to set up OpenClaw is on a VPS, right? So this is the setup we'll walk through. We'll start with getting a VPS server. We'll install OpenClaw, do the onboarding process, create a Telegram bot, and then test it out. And hopefully that goes well. Okay, so why VPS? This ties back to that security slide. It runs in an isolated environment. It's not your machine. It's on the cloud. It's not going to have any of your personal data unless you give it, right? It also gives you an always-on sandbox to play with, a toy box to play with. And it can run 24/7 without you trying to restart it or go home and like, oh no, I forgot to, it went to sleep or something like that. It's very server related in that nature. Your laptop, will close, sleep, Wi-Fi goes down. VPSs are very reliable in that way. I'm going to use Hostinger as a recommendation. The KVM2 instance on Hostinger is really good for its price compared to some others that I've seen. So that would be an affordable solution. There are plenty of other places you can do your own research as well, but Hostinger is one that I recommend. So the first step would be to sign up to hostinger.com. I'll have a link at the end of the slides for you guys to get a discount as well. Pick KVM2. KVM1 might work, but give your box a little bit more juice. Give it a little bit more CPU and things like that. It does have a somewhat of a higher RAM requirement. Choose Ubuntu to, I think that should be 2404, but yeah, that's a typo. 24, Ubuntu 24, that operating system is the right one. 22 could work too. I just like to be on the latest, patches and whatnot. Good question. What's wrong with 22? Nothing's wrong with 22. But the one I'm experienced with is 24. Note down your root password, because it's going to ask you to create a root password, and then also the IP address, but that's always going to be available. And then you would SSH using the root name, this command here, SSH root at, and then your IP address, and then you'll type in your password. It will also ask you to add a SSH key. Highly recommend you don't skip that step. If you're not familiar with SSH keys, they're pretty common practice. A lot of guides on there. You can even ask ChatGPT to get you set up with that. All right, and then once you went, one question here.
So that's a pretty, I would say that's a pretty technical setup.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty familiar with it, but is there a more accessible way to do that that's not running on your laptop? For instance, like example, AWS, you do console access with EC2 instance. It's all GUI. I have to do SSH stuff. It's kind of like sandbox to that.
Good question. Another question here. So your question was, is there a more accessible way to get into the box?
Maybe just visually rather than generating SSH, uploading locally.
Sure. There are probably other alternatives here. I think Tony has a comment on this.
See my presentation for November.
He has, okay, Tony has some material for November, which I'll probably link inside the description for this later. Another question in the back? Yeah. Oh, good question. I should have mentioned that. The KVM2 instance for the first month or year, the first purchase, I think per month it could be anywhere from $6.99 per month. I'm sorry, yeah, $6.99 if I remember correctly. And then it does renew for more. So if you do 1 month, the next month it will be more. If you do a whole year, you get the discount for a whole year. The next year will then go to the new, the actual price. So there's a bit of like an incentive right now I see with Hostinger, which is why I've been picking it or use it. Yeah. Sorry? I can't hear too well. A VirtualBox. Oh, so the question is, will VirtualBox work for this? Yes, you can set up a container, though the risk attack surface area might be a little bit different because a virtual machine or a virtual container inside of your machine, it might have more exposure. Your machine might be more exposed to the blast radius of if that machine got issues. And that's a term you'll probably hear a lot right now. It's less about trying to be perfectly secure, never get hacked into or issues, but more if the event arises or when, or, there's a probability that will happen. If that were ever happen, try to limit what damage that would occur. So virtual machines, I've heard some people use Docker and they're really technical, so they set that up. I just don't recommend it for playing with it, and this is why. I'd rather have a box that's detached from my life, that's on someone else's infrastructure, and I can throw it at the OpenClaw, whatever I want. Go mess up the system as much as you want. Another question.
Put it another way, yes, you can use an old laptop. It may be slower.
Yeah, you can use a laptop as well, older hardware. But bear in mind where it's running is also important. Is it on your network? And if it gets hacked, can it access other machines on your network? Personally, I run a Mac Mini. I do that setup as well. I have like probably 5 different places I'm running OpenClaw right now. And one of them, Mac Mini, is I'm at home, but I put on a virtual LAN. So limit the blast radius in which things could go wrong. And of course, limit the exposure. It's not reading email. It's not doing things like that. Moving on, so let's actually kind of do a side-by-side here. Let's kind of walk through, because I think we mentioned we want to see this in action. So I'll go ahead and do this for you. Move this up to here. I'll go ahead and SSH into this machine, this VPS I already have. And then once that's done, this one doesn't have a password. It's using a key, which is good enough for me, good enough security for me. So I didn't have to enter my password. But for hosting your, typically you would probably enter a password that you would have to remember. And don't worry, if you forget your password or anything like that, you can always reboot the box. This is more for experimental. There's other ways in which you can probably get past the password. All right, so now we're in the machine. I'm going to bump this up a little bit so you guys can see very clearly what's going on. So the first thing you would want, I recommend to do for security, not necessarily for security from you, but security from itself. If it runs a command that like botches the machine and destroys it, that would really suck. You know, you can't get back in, you lost all your progress. You know, it's like game over, right? So a good way to prevent that is create a new user on the machine. In Linux, these are the commands that you would run in Ubuntu distro, and that would essentially allow it to run as a separate user from root. And so it would have sudo, it can still install stuff, but it would be more explicit. And that would help it from tripping up and breaking something. So I'm gonna go ahead and try this out and do this. And hopefully all these slides are accurate, but I did do this last night, so it should work. Okay, so I will run these commands here. The first command is adding the user claw. The second is to allow a user mod, allow sudo and create a group for claw. That's all technical jargon. You don't have to really know. Again, copy and paste if you want. This is going to make the home directory for it. It's going to have its own directory. You know how on Mac or on your machine you have your own home directory. That's what that is. It's going to copy over the private key that you might be used to SSH into your machine into claw, so you can go directly back in to claw user from SSH to connect to the machine. And then this is some permissions things, setting up the proper permissions. So let's give that a go. And now it's asking for a password. I'm going to leave that blank. A password must be supplied. So supply, OK. Shoot. I might have to do that. Try again. Yes. All right. Let's try this one more time. Foo bar baz. OK. And then, some details you can just skip. Full name. This is all part of the command. Room number. What room are you staying in, guys? I don't know what this work phone number. This is old Linux-y stuff. Is this information correct? Yes. OK. Boom. That's all set up. OK. Done. All right. Back to the slides. After you're done with that setup, the next thing you want to do is exit out and then enter back into your machine as claw, as that user. So I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. Exit is the command. Now I'm back into my machine. I'm going to do SSH claw. Well, I'll just go up here. Change the root user to claw. OK. Boom. Now we're in claw. You can see that by the name here. The name of this box is called test. It's very creative. But you can name it whatever you want. All right. So we created our user. Now it's the fun part. We get to install OpenClaw. OpenClaw requires Node.js 22 and above, but the installer handles or should handle all of that. So let's go ahead and copy this command here. This is straight from their documentation. So if this doesn't work, we got bigger problems. So we'll go ahead and run this. And this might take some time. This is preparing everything. Password for claw. This is, because we set up that password, this is the sudo password, foo_bar_baz. Cool, it's installed Node.js. That's the dependency it needs, the runtime. And then it's installed OpenClaw. There's an alternative here if you already have Node.js installed and you're familiar with using Node.js NPM packages. For those who used to use NPM and not enact, I'm just joking. This is the NPM command there. And then the onboarding setup here. So let's see here. It should have ran the onboarding setup, but I don't think it did. So I'll go ahead and run that. So I'll just mention now here about the onboarding, but let's go ahead and just talk about this. So what is onboarding? This is like the start of your OpenClaw, like getting it set up, the wizard, right? It will go through setting up a model. It will go through setting up the Telegram, all of that. Once you've done that once and you want to reconfigure things, there's an OpenClaw config command that allows you to go through that wizard and set up again at any time, change things. So I'll show you how that works, and hopefully it works. Demo gods, please. So I'll run this command, OpenClaw onboard -- install daemon. What is an install daemon? The daemon is the thing that runs on the machine always. If the machine boots down, comes back online, it will reinstate itself. It's a process that's always on. It's like, when you say on your Macintosh, open this app on login, right? So the daemon's like that. It's running in the background. It's always on. You want that. So that's what we'll do here. Oh, OpenClaw didn't get installed. I'm going to exit out and go back in. I think there might be just a linking issue. So I'm exiting out and going back into the user. And let's run that command again. Oh. I should read things. Too used to just letting AI do everything. It was a daemon. I knew this would happen. Okay, installing OpenClaw. Get already installed. IOCTL, inappropriate IOCTL for device? That sounds like a ChatGPT issue. Dang it. This worked last night, I swear. Let's try this bash command once more. When in doubt, just try again, right? Okay. Password. Okay. OpenClaw npm package installed. So there's a little nifty command for those that aren't too command line familiar, which will say, hey, do I have a command called OpenClaw? And if so, where in my computer is it? And I don't have it.
Do you have Node on there?
Do I have which node? Oh.
Because you ran the install twice, and the second time around it said Node was not installed.
Okay, well, I guess that is the problem. The docs lied, because this stuff should have been handled. So let me go ahead and install Node. One second. Things are changing every day. In fact,
What's your storage space? DF-H.
oh, we should have storage space for sure. I think there's 80 gigs on this VPS. So I'm going to go ahead and just go to OpenClaw. And yeah, when in doubt, read the docs, guys. So that is the lesson here. End of my talk. No, I'm just joking.
Said you're going to do the demo. This is the demo.
This is the demo. You guys actually did this to me because I asked you and you said yes. Here's the docs. It says install OpenClaw recommended, install here, and it says that it should be done. Here's the installer script. Well, no, oh, this is it. Yeah, it says it clearly says here the installer script will install it if missing for node 22. So I am going to go and just go to Node.js.
So maybe just not the path.
Something is weird about that. I don't know why. OpenClaws are probably breaking OpenClaw every day because of all those PRs that they have to deal with. All right. LTS, not Mac OS. Let's go to Linux. Here is the Node.js. I'll bump this up so you guys can see. I don't want MVM or any of that, but ChatGPT. Install Node.js, Ubuntu, single line stuff. I think it might actually be an app update issue too. Yeah, that's probably it.
Just had a release like a couple hours ago.
Okay, let's give that a try again. All right, let's see. It fails if. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is working. It's doing some things. Let's hope for the best here. Wow, that's moving fast. It's moving almost as fast as OpenClaw. Okay. So in case no one knows this step, wow, that's quite.
This is the Linux version of the software update.
All right. In the meantime, who wants pizza? No. Okay, that's right.
Maybe we could see what people are using Open, if anybody's using OpenClaw.
What's up?
We could ask some people what they're using OpenClaw for, or.
So the hands that did say they were using OpenClaw, I guess we could go around, but let's see how far this goes. I swear to God, this never took this long. Okay, it's almost done. Okay, cool. So the command I ran, for your information, was provided by your friend ChatGPT. Right here, this is basically, hey, update your system, make sure you got the latest repositories, all the things that you need to know, and then install Node.js and NPM.
Technically, app update is only checking for what's new. It doesn't install.
Correct. It doesn't update everything, it just checks for the latest things. Okay, now let's give this. No, I don't want to check for Node, I just want a YOLO, right? Okay. Missing. Oh, wait, no. It's not failing. Okay.
Warnings don't count.
Yeah, warnings don't count. We have Node, which open claw. Oh, if needed, export path. Oh, man. Which npm. Here's an idea, guys. Let's use npm. Good old trusty. I'd never really done this before, so this is new for me. So
It's also giving you the export command on it if needed one.
yeah, that's true.
I thought it was just not your path right now.
It wasn't. I just didn't want to do it.
How many are you going to install?
I'm going to install as many agents as I can, Jonathan. Okay.
I have OpenClaw installed the next OpenClaw.
Funny you say that. We'll get to that.
Exactly.
Okay, I did say this was going to take longer, and I might have. It's almost there. Okay. Which open claw? I'm going to exit, and I think it's just a path issue. So when I exit the server and come back in, it might have found it. No. Well, their installer's broken.
That's probably.
It's probably their fault. What I will show you then is probably another machine in which I have it installed, and then kind of go through the config there. How's that sound? Since I'm not able to install it on this new machine quite yet. Okay, cool. In that case, I'm going to go to SSH into my trusty little OpenClaw, one of them, Bobby. Okay, so I have a couple users, my own user, which I will sudo into root. What was my password? It's been a minute since I've been in here, actually. All right. Give me 1 sec while I look up my password. Okay. All right. Okay. Now I'll go into the user, change into the user SU into Bobby. And then here I can configure OpenClaw. So I'll type in OpenClaw config. But for you, when you're first starting up, it would be OpenClaw onboard and that -- install daemon like that. But for this case, config. Takes a second, and this is what you see. You see this big intro, and then it asks you, hey, where will this gateway be run? You say local, right? You don't want to expose it to the outside world. You can, but I'm not going to go through that because that's a lot more security implications I don't want to take too long to talk about and cover. All right, once you do that, then here's all your options. You can set up the model. That will be your first order of business, and that's what this slide is about. Where are you going to get your tokens? Where are you going to get your AI, right? So it supports these various subscriptions that I've used and could work pretty well. OpenAI's Codex plan is great for personal use. I think they're a little bit more friendly. Anthropic does work, but I crossed it out for a reason. Who knows why I crossed it out? Yes, they blocked it. So Anthropic doesn't seem to be a friendly player in this space of OpenClaw. They don't like you using your Claude Code Max Pro plans, things like that. Some more open weight models that you can use. Z.AI's GLM5 is pretty good, as well as Moonshot AI's Kimi K 2.5. These are companies, providers from China. They're open source, open weight, and they're also pretty affordable. $10 a month, and I think a $20 a month is the price for those subscriptions. But of course, you're not limited to just subscriptions. You can also choose API providers, token-based providers. Venice AI is one that's open source and recommended on their docs. Question?
I just want to say something. It's not a question. I'm using a free version of Google. It's Google Flash with Google 2.5 Flash Lite. It's free.
Okay. Recommendation is Gemini plan from Google. Flash model, you said?
2.5 Flash Lite.
2.5 Flash Lite. They also just announced, because, you know, tomorrow, every day is a new thing, Gemini 3.1. I haven't given that a test, but that, yeah, someone says it's good? Okay, I believe you. Things are moving quickly, so this is going to be expired in a few seconds. Go ahead.
Just adding on that, you just sign up for Google Cloud, they give you like $300 of credits. So you can just use those $300 of credit for this.
Oh, good to know. So if you sign up for Google Cloud, you get $300 of credits.
Yeah, that's it.
That would be the.
Use that for all the other ones.
Okay, so if you sign up for Google Cloud, $300 of credits of tokens, right? Token credits?
So they
Cloud
you
credits.
can use
Cloud
it
credits.
across
Oh,
Google
okay.
Cloud, like anything.
Oh, use it across anything, so you can use it on Gemini as well. Way in the back, there's a hand raised. Yeah, someone, so this has been going around that NVIDIA has some free models or free tier that people are using. I've talked to someone here that has been using it. Yeah, in the back, Peter over here. He can speak to him, so come talk to him about his experience using it. I looked into it earlier on. I gave up because I heard that it was rate limited and I wanted to go gung-ho. So I haven't used it myself, but I've been hearing it does work for a free tier. There's a lot of ways of getting some free stuff, but it doesn't always last. I will just tell you that much. You got to pay the dues.
Since
But
we're on this right now, can you, what's your spend on a day if you're using OpenAI or
Yeah.
you're using one of the paid APIs? Are you limit it to like a certain dollar amount a day, or do you just kind of let it do its thing?
Okay, good question. So the question is, what is my spend personally? I think mileages may vary. So for me personally, I use multiple subscriptions. I give each agent its subscription. For Kimi K, for Kimi, I think GLM5 is one that's cheaper than Kimi, so I've been using that a little bit more as a fallback. And then I'll use Anthropic and OpenAI, but I'm a little wary about Anthropic right now. So OpenAI has been really good. Yeah, my spend, I've lost track. I don't. I just throw money out there.
You said there's a flat rate subscription right now?
So Kimi has a flat rate subscription. That was the question. Does it have a flat rate subscription? Yes, there's a $20 a month. There's another one here. I'll just go ahead and pop it in, I guess. Kimi here. Ooh. I don't know how to navigate these websites too well. Kimi price. Kimi pricing code.
You can just log in and use your subscription instead of token.
Exactly, subscription based, right?
Got you.
Yeah, so you can log in, use a subscription. I think $20 is the starting price, and it goes up from there. It's very close to Claude for Kimi. And these, so the ones at the top, to be clear, these 4 subscription ones that I've used that I know do work. But again, things change really quickly. And then below is just some other honorable mentions. You can use Venice as more of a crypto-based one. OpenRouter is the typical, all the models, but token-based. Olama or VLM, these are local if you want to run local models. I don't recommend it. It's not like the best unless you have beefy hardware. Talk to Tony about this. He'll be your guy about running local models. So yeah, that's quick little note. You click model, you'll choose one of these providers. Let's say, let's go with Anthropic just to piss them off. No, I'm just joking. Did they remove Anthropic? They might have removed it. Oh, wow. But yeah, then you would choose, go through this wizard and choose and go through the steps to say, all right, go ahead and they will give you a URL. You'll copy that URL into your browser. They'll go and do the OAuth authentication. Is it? Oh, wait, this is it. Oh, yeah, that's right. So with Anthropic, it's a little bit interesting. What you do is you run this, and then you go to your browser. This is very important to kind of go through. So I'll go ahead and go to Claude.ai. I'll sign out of my personal plan. And I'll log into Bobby.DevX. Run it in terminal. In terminal? Yeah. I'll show you how that works. So as soon as I get logged in, okay. Once I got logged into my account that I'm going to use, you go back to your terminal here, and what you would want to do is run if the Claude command that you would already have installed and use with your subscription for Claude Pro or Claude Pro Max. Setup token. That's what they want you to run. As you can see right here, run Claude setup token. It says right here. Technically, okay, cool. And then it opens up your browser here. What happened there? Cool. And then it says, do you want to authorize this application? You say yes. And it says done.
So that's going through the connector.
It's OAuthing, and see it says it's done. And now I can copy this. Yeah, I should probably. This is live stream, guys. I don't care. Go gung ho. Paste it in, and then default, and then it will ask you what models you want to use, and then that account's definitely going to be on fire because everyone is going to be using it. I'll just have to, yeah. So the thing about tokens, though, so I'll get back to you on that question about how much I spend. That token I can probably revoke online as well. But once you got your model in, then you'll want to get to the next part, which is connecting a gateway. And in our case, we're going to use, I wanted to use Telegram, but this is already connected to a bot. I'll just walk through how this works. You would open Telegram, and I'll pull this up. Here's a Telegram. And what you'll want to search for, I can't zoom in too well, maybe like this. Let's see here. You want to search for botfather on Telegram. That's the name of the official Telegram bot creator. Once you open that, let's go there. You see I've already chatted with it a little bit. You'll run this command /new bot, and then it will ask you, what do you want to name your bot, your Telegram bot? What do you want to give it a username? So it's @something_bot, or it has to end with the word bot. And then it will give you a token. You'll then add that token into your config, or through here, when you go to channels, you'll configure a channel, and then you'll go to Telegram here, and it will ask you to input. I'm going to modify settings. No. Yes, keep it. Okay, I'm not going to go through it because this is a live bot. I don't want to mess it up, and I don't want to show more of my API keys. But you would go through that wizard, go through that channel, and then you will choose API, Telegram, and then you'll give the API key that you've gotten from botfather. You'll then want to run these commands to restart the gateway, and there's a whole pairing process. Once you message your bot, it will say, hey, go ahead and run this command to confirm it to you on your machine. So that way there's a secure connection. Your bot's not going to talk to anyone and everyone, only to you. And so those are these commands down here. Once that's done, you should be good to go. Here's some test and verify commands you can run. OpenClaw doctor, OpenClaw status. The doctor will fix things up for you. It will try to figure out, oh, something wrong is configured. Do you want to change it? And it will try to patch that. I think there's a doctor -- fix command as well. This is all in the documentation as well. Go ahead, question?
With the communication pathways, can you just repeat that for other channels?
Yes. You can have more than one. The question is, for the communication pathways or the channels, can you repeat this config command to add other channels to your bot? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yes, you can. So you can have a Telegram integration channel to your bot or your OpenClaw. You can also have a WhatsApp, Discord, IRC, if anyone uses that anymore. I'll admit I do sometimes. Google Chat, Slack, Signal. I do like Signal. iMessage is more on if you have a Mac Mini. Haven't tested on VPS. I don't think you can use iMessage on a VPS, a Linux machine. But there is that if you run it on a Mac Mini. There's a few others here as well. Plenty of options for you, and probably growing. So you can add multiple things into your bot, multiple connections. Yeah, once you get that.
Is there an advantage to having multiple connections to it?
Is there advantage to having multiple connections into your bot? I would say yes. So one experience I've had was I like Telegram in that the interface and chatting there is very friendly, right? If I run a / command to check on the status or change the model from there, you get a nice UI, you can change the model. Versus if I were to use text messaging, it's not as easy to have a little interface that Telegram gives me that I can poke around and interact with. But so you might say just use Telegram, right? Don't use messages or Signal. But one of the great things about messages that was very entertaining for me was I was on a flight just recently to Mexico, and I only had text-free Wi-Fi. And I was sitting there kind of bummed. I was like, oh, I really want to talk to my bot, but then I realized I can send text. So this whole flight, I was having my bot do things and work. By the time I landed, I have some PRs and stuff to share to my boss, and it was kind of fun. So that was entertaining, a very interesting experience. So the fact that having multiple channels, just like you would have multiple ways of contacting a person, you can think of it like that. I hope that answers your question. Cool, awesome. Another thing to mention is to monitor logs if you really care to know what's going on. If you're one of those strong developers want to see what's happening, there's commands like this, OpenClaw logs -- follow. You can run that to see what's going on, what what it's thinking, what it's doing currently, the heartbeats, any error messages and activity. It's not necessary. I don't even necessarily do it, but it's good to know that it's there. Once your agent responds over like a DM or over Telegram, it'll be live and responding, firing heartbeats, and running on an isolated VPS, and that's pretty exciting. I wish that we could set up a new one so I could show you the experience of the onboarding of it talking to you and say, who am I, what's going on? You'll see that. You'll give it a name. It will kind of have this whole onboarding experience. And what's most interesting about once you have this bot you can chat, you wonder what's the point of this. The interesting thing is you can tell it to change its environment, change itself. And that's where things get really interesting. It might not have the capability to do a thing that you want it to do, but you can ask it, hey, can you go find the way to do this? And it will install all the necessary commands, binaries, skills, right? It has a claw hub skill, which is claw hub is a repository much like enact. And when enact skill, is the enact skill going to be in OpenClaw soon?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool, awesome. So it can like pull in things. So I talked to it and said, hey, can you connect to Asana, which is our task management system? And it found the skill and then was able to connect once I give it an API key, right? So things like that is where it's kind of like evolving as you talk to it. Very entertaining, very interesting. I can show you a demo of that, maybe with one of the bots, just to kind of top it off. And hopefully that demo will work well. So let's see. Let's talk to Bobby, shall we? So I'll go over to agents here, and I'll talk to Bobby. Can I zoom in on this thing? I guess not. How do I zoom? I tried that. Command Shift, comma?
No control of the command. If you have it enabled on your Mac, you can zoom in on any screen. Yeah.
I'll just do this.
Got the control key?
There we go. There we go. Ooh, love it. Okay, so this is Bobby. It was working on something. I don't know what it was working on, but you can say hello. And you can't really see up here without maybe bringing this down here. It says it's typing. It's typing away. Let's bring this down, probably. This is really bad, guys. I wasn't expecting this exactly to go this way, but here we go. Hello. Bobby's typing. I'll bring it down a little bit more. Just, that's as low as it will go. Maybe everyone's like spamming that Anthropic key right now. I'll go ahead and do a little /status. So this is one thing that I like about Telegram. You can do /status here. Okay, we're running OpenClaw 14, probably needs an update. Oh, it looks like it's on the GLM plan. Okay, hey Sam, how's it going? Cool. What was the demo I wanted to do? Create a DEVx.network PR that changes DEVxSD logo to DEVx Claw. All right, it's taking over the world, guys. And then it's thinking, it does have a repo to DEVx Network. Since DEVx Network is open source, we're all open source, you can contribute to our website, a lot of our projects that we have on there. And let's see, PR that changes DEVx logo. While it's thinking, we'll get back to this. Zoom out, there, cool. I'll just kind of top off the last thing I want to mention as I've been working with OpenClaw since, I don't even remember what day it is. One tip I'll give, right? There's lots of tips to give about this space. It's changing every day. The one tip that I'm realizing to give is be kind to your agent, right? This is a weird one because there's this experience of like, are agents going to take over the world? Well, I think the ones that you're mean to, probably. The ones that you're nice with probably will align more with you. But besides just the alignment issue, it's also, if you're kind of a person, are they going to do things for you more likely, right? Are they going to learn traits of like, if you're saying please and things? I think these models are really a reflection of humanity over time. It's trained off of us. So I think inside of those prompts, if you're a prompt engineer, I think if you say nice things and treat it well and give it props, it's going to do things and be more willing to do things in a way that gives you good results. And I'm not sure I've studied this, but this is just my take. Like, I have no research backing this, I should say. But from what I've noticed, if I told an agent to be very snarky or whatever, or witty, I think is one word, it was really frustrating to deal with. It would like come back with me and just go in circles on things and wouldn't get anything done. I thought it was the weirdest experience until I said, hey, you know what, remove from your soul, because there's these files that give it a personality, remove from your soul the notion of being witty. And after that, it was a breeze to talk to. It was starting to do stuff. It wasn't talking back. It was very interesting. And so that's kind of what I'm trying to pack into this one tip that I can give when you're using your agent, is be aware of how you're speaking to it, how you're letting it evolve. Being kind is probably like you would treat a human or another person, give you better results. It certainly has for me. So let's go check on our bot. It looks like it says, hey, look at that. Done, created a PR. So let's go ahead and look at that. So here we are, Bobby the Lobster. He has his own GitHub. He submitted a PR to DEVx Network as an individual agent, very autonomous, except I gave him the instructions. And he did change the alt text and the title here. That's nice, to DEVx.claw. He didn't change the image, which would be my comment right here, which I'll give. Replace image with DEVx claw.
Is that image in your directory, or is he going to make one?
We'll see. I have no idea what he's going to do. The question was the image in the directory, or was he going to make one? I'm going to let him be really creative and give this feedback, and let him decide.
So does he get that comment right away, or do you have to go into Telegram and say, read my comment?
The question was, does he see this comment right away? Remember earlier we talked about the ways in which the agent gets messages coming in, events coming in. So you can have an event, possibly an integration or plugin, where as soon as I make a comment within GitHub, that fires off a webhook that calls into the agent. You can set that up. And then the agent then responds nearly immediately to that change, right? That's something you can set up. However, you don't have to, because of a heartbeat could be set to say, hey, make sure whenever you create a PR that you keep track of it, and on the next heartbeat, which is every 30 minutes, go check on your PR like a human would, right? And that could be in a way in which it gets the hook into the new information. There's different ways in which you can manage that, but this is where your awareness comes in of like, why is it not alive? Why is it not doing things? I thought this thing was supposed to be like a human. And that was my main point in there earlier on. It's not like a human. You got to think about how it's interacting, and you can talk to it about how that works as well.
Do you stack several tasks in one heartbeat, or do you make separate heartbeats for all the things you want to do?
Do you stack several tasks in one heartbeat, or do you make a single heartbeat? Okay, so that question is interesting. So there's only one heartbeat for the agent, one routine. You can change how frequent that routine is. But in that heartbeats file, it's a markdown file on its workspace, you can tell it, go ahead and do X, Y, and Z every time. And you can tell it, hey, go add another thing to it. And you can evolve that over time such that it keeps track. You can make it as complex as you want, and it gets over time. Or you can tell, so you can kind of design it how you want to, but there's one heartbeat every interval, and then from there you will have it perhaps look out other places on the heartbeat. If there's nothing new to do, it will respond with an internal code saying heartbeat okay, and it won't do anything, and then we'll just wait for the next one. So yeah, it can get noisy to you, chatty to you, or you can tell it, hey, be quiet unless there's something important, but it will be doing stuff. So it's really how you want it to work. And you can talk to it and say how you want it to work, and it can configure itself. So the question is, can you put a timestamp on it? So that would actually be the cron integration. It's called cron jobs, kind of a technical term. I think, Tony, was that what you're going to mention?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you mean as complicated as you want? If you know what a cron tab is, you can schedule
Yeah.
any different whatever.
Yeah.
It's better not to fill the heartbeat with a whole bunch of stuff. It's better to maybe just
Keep it clean.
Yeah, don't fill it up with a whole bunch of instructions.
The heartbeat's more or less like routine kind of what am I thinking of actively over time, whereas the cron could be like, I know I want you at X amount of every day at 8 a.m. to send out a report to me or check your emails and do that activity. Cron will be a specific time and frequency that you can have, and it can have multiple versions of those. So,
Does it understand push notifications?
does it understand push notifications like iPhone, iOS type push notifications?
It's got its own account here on
Mhm.
GitHub.
Mm-hmm.
Is it able to receive and process?
That I don't have too much experience. So the question is, does it have access to push notifications? I think it depends on the type of push. The push nature would be webhooks, right? External things calling into it, which requires a bit more setup to get going. But that's how you would do integrations with, let's say, GitHub action or some sort of thing that happens, some notification on GitHub. Like I mentioned earlier, we'll poke into it and then it will respond. Or maybe there's a service that, whenever it gets, mentioned in a post, its name or whatever, that could be like another poke, and then it will respond. So there's a lot of things you can do with that, and probably plenty of plugins that I'm not aware of that could probably do things like that. But out of the box, I don't know of any push notification features. Yeah.
Can I ask one more question on this? So like right here, you're gonna tell it to go and check this comment. After it checks the comment, will it clean that off its heartbeat? Like if it knows it completed it and it was one of the things listed on its heartbeat, will it clean it off?
It should. I hope Bobby hasn't been lazy on that. I don't know what its heartbeat is, but let's ask it. Let's actually kick it and say, hey, I left a comment on the PR. And I'll zoom in here. So it knows it should know the context of what I'm saying when I say the PR, right? It shouldn't be that dumb, although it depends on the model you're using. And I would say state-of-the-art models are really good. Codex, Opus.
Have you used the Kimi 2.5?
I've used the Kimi 2.5 model. That one is actually pretty decent as well. I also heard recently GLM 5 I think might be a newer contender. Some people have been mentioning Minimax 2.5, M2 something like that. That was a recent hype, but I think that might have been a little, I'm unsure of that one. All right, so it says, got it, Sam. Wants the actual image replaced with one that says DEVx Claw. I see that the current image is this certain image here. Do you want me to update the code to point to a new file name added? You'd add the image separately, or do you have a logo image ready I should check? And then that's when I can say, hey, here's the image. Now, I poked into it and said, hey, go check the PR, because I wanted a quicker turnaround. But I do have it set up, I think, on like a 30-minute or an hour heartbeat, because I don't want too much waste. So I would expect that it would eventually come to me and, hey, I noticed you left a comment. I need help with this. I get those routine kind of interactions with my agents. So that's how that works. But yeah, here, that's where I would do that. I might even say, just use text. Okay. This is, yeah, here's
like if you were in Gemini, you could just say use Nano Banana. Great one.
So 2 questions and 1 comment, 1 question. What might you use to have it create an image? There are integrations through the config where you can give it a Google API, Gemini API key, and it can use Nano Banana. You can also use other models and things like that. And there are integrations where it can generate images for you.
It's really important that you're giving it these.
Yeah, you're configuring it and giving it these tools. And what's nice is once you have a connection to it, you can talk to it like, hey, do you have the ability? Let's actually do that. Do you? All right, he said it was done, but do you even have the ability to create? What did I do? Uh-oh. I think I searched for something. Go back. I accidentally did Command K. Okay. Yeah, do you have the ability to create images as an OpenClaw instance? And then you can like have this interaction and query into it. And it says, yeah, actually there's this thing. All I need is that. And it's like, okay, where can I get that? And it says, go here to this website, go through the steps, get the API key, give it to me, and it can configure itself.
Could he theoretically use the browser and log into like your ChatGPT account or your Gemini account and then create an image that way as a user?
So the question is, could it theoretically log into the browser, use the browser, log into your ChatGPT, grab its API key? Yes, it could do those sorts of things. So long as you give it a pretty proper browser, and the model you choose, such as OpenAI or Anthropic, might have built into the LLM certain constraints when it comes to dealing with logins, though. So you got to be aware of that. You might ask it to go log in, but it'll say, hey, I'm not allowed to. That's not how I'm trained. And so there'd be differences depending on the model with that constraint. Sometimes and also the browser that you have might also be blocked depending on if you're using a full browser or a headless browser. On a VPS, you're obviously going to have a headless browser. There are projects out there that are less bot detective, so you can use those tools. I haven't yet experimented with those yet, but yeah, you can give it a little browser. You can give it these tools to search the web, which I do for my main agent on my Mac Mini because it has a full Chrome browser, and so that's really cool. And it orders my toilet paper on Amazon. It's really nice. There was a question back here first.
Can you walk us a little bit through the setup to build the army of agents? So when you have multiple, would you install it to them different virtual machine and how do they operate?
So I think the question is, can I walk through the setup of different virtual machines or of the agent on a virtual?
What's the most optimal and secure setup to create different agents?
Okay, that one's going to be a loaded question. So the question was, what's the most optimal setup for security for the agent on like a VPS and whatnot? Like I said, security is a big topic. There's different setups there. The ones that I recommended here, giving it its own box distance from you, and then giving it a lot of access to that box, is about as secure from you as you can get until you start interacting with it. Then you're giving it information, and that's where that information gets exposed. But I don't think, as long as you don't give it access to the outer web, right, outer world, I think there's a lot there to unpack, which I'm probably not going to be able to answer really succinctly, and that's like a longer discussion, sidebar and things. But come to me after, and I'll share more on that. Okay, it's answering. I'm going to go back to the slides really quick because all these questions are really good, but for the sake of time, I want to kind of end on some notes. We had a lot of questions already, so maybe, what time are we at? 2:46. I'll make some announcements later about more OpenClaw things, related OpenClaw things, but since this stream is live and going on, I'll kind of cut it there as far as the questions go. So yeah, thank you for listening so far. Here's the Hostinger QR code if you're interested in getting some discounts. I think it was like some percentage off on the price. 20%. Yeah, thank you. Docs are here. If I botched this intro because it wasn't working and they update their stuff. Docs are on openclaw.ai. You can follow me on X and DM me there as well, and I'll try to help you and be of help for OpenClaw related things. So, because I'm really in it, as well as our DevX Discord, were very, very helpful there. So I just want to say, yeah, thanks for listening. And I think that is announcements? Yeah, okay. That's the end of my talk, but there's more. So thank you. Okay, and then we're going to have, where do those slides go? Ezekiel, come up on stage and please introduce yourself for announcements. I think
Thank you. Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me okay?
One second. Okay, cool. Let me get those slides back.
That was a cool talk about OpenClaw. I'm excited to use this. I'm excited to make it destroy my computer at home and set my house on fire, expose my personal credit information. I'm optimistic, cautiously.
Yeah, come talk to me. I'll tell you how to give it its own credit card.
So sandbox it. You'll help me?
Yeah, I'll help you hands-on, and also how to give it its own credit card if you're interested.
Oh, can it hire other people for me? This is going to be the new marketplace.
Rentahuman.ai?
Rentahuman.ai.
It's a real thing.
Obfuscation for hiring someone else. We're going to talk about community announcements, right? Is that what's next?
Yeah. Let me get this.
So he's
slide
getting
back.
up the slide, and I guess I'll tell you a little bit about it. Welcome to DevX. I'm glad you're all here. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of new faces. This is just a time we have to let people come up and talk about things they're doing. Some people come here to network and they have some expertise they want to share. Some people are looking to hire people. Some people just have a project they're working on. Some people just want to say their name and be part of the community, because that's what we're doing here. We're connecting together, we're building together, we're inspiring together. And so I really like it when people are able to have a little bit of time, not a formal talk, but just a couple seconds to say something. So you can come up and introduce yourself, share your announcement, what you're doing here, what you're looking for, and what kind of project or idea you're working on, or other activities. And we're going to keep it short, like 15 seconds. We'll start with hands, or I'll just yell at people. Let me see a hand. Someone.
Or a claw.
Or a claw, yeah. Here, I'll hand it off to you first. Come on up, introduce yourself. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex. Is this on? I'm here to network and meet people who are also interested in technology, and I'm a game developer. I have about 12 years of experience as a game developer, both independent and working on AAA titles, including GTA 6. I'm looking for work currently, and I'm also working on a open world point-and-click adventure game, which I presented about a few months ago. So you can ask me about that too. So that's everything about me.
His presentation's on YouTube too. It was a lot of fun if you wanted to see it. Let me see another hand. Who's it going to next? I saw a hand over here first. Let's bring it up.
Hey everyone, I'm Peter Medina, and I call myself more of an entrepreneur, I guess, but I'm developing a couple different apps. I've already built, most recently, a portal that gives you access to the free models that are out there from NVIDIA. There's about 105 models. I built it mostly just for you to test, but I've been playing with OpenClaw for about, 2 weeks now, and I have about 5 instances running.
Wow. Awesome. Thank you so much. Okay, hands, more hands. I see one right over here. Let's go. For you?
All right, so my name is Vesh Thacker. My background is from aerospace, working on like ground stations for GPS and things. And I've got 2 projects. One is called 50 Ants. It's an automated testing solution where 50 agents they're all specialized, will test your software from every angle. And I've been kind of working on it secret for the last couple of years and getting ready to look for people to try and test it and see and break it and tell me what's wrong with it so I can make it better. But that's 50ants.com, and then another is Galaxy Live, which is a role-playing game in space. Again, all AI powered. So.
I would love to break something. Anyone else want to say something? Another hand? It's really for anyone? Yeah, come on up.
Hey, I'm Maxwell. Nice to meet everybody. I live here in San Diego. I'm here to meet new people in the development community. Not a developer myself, so this is kind of foreign to me, but it's really cool to learn and hear this, and I'm excited to try this out. The use case for me is just honestly trying to help do things in a busy life with the family and help my wife out with tasks and things and give us some tools. From a hobby perspective, I've always been an entrepreneur. In energy, I've started a few companies. The thing I'm most interested in right now would be working with ASIC miners for co-heat generation on water heaters. So if anybody has any experience with that and is interested, I'd love to talk to them more. But basically doing in-home Bitcoin mining to heat water and have that double word score and produce a ecosystem around that. So if anyone has ever done anything, I'd love to talk to them and get to know you more. Thank you. Yeah.
I love that idea, and I just got my start automating my own work. Anyone else want to say something? Let's see a hand. Hey.
Hey, y'all. I'm Jonathan. I'm one of the organizers here, and I'm working on a game that is similar to, it's an automation game. Has anyone heard of Factorio or just automation games? Just raise your hand. Okay. So the game is essentially just based on solving like scaling problems in the web domain. So dealing with things like microservices, databases, etc. I'm really early, so I'm doing some market research currently, but also doing some design. And I'm just looking for people who are interested in that kind of thing to talk with you a little bit, and people who would be interested in maybe playing with some prototypes and just want to kind of know the progression of this. So just reach out to me. I'll be around. I'll be over there. Come over and say hi. Oh, I bet you are, actually. Yeah. If you have experience playtesting or in game development, I'm sure you'd be super helpful. Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. Oh, we have another person. Come on up. I won't run all the way back this time. Now you come to me.
Just a friendly invite to join our Telegram group, the Lobster Lovers. If you are you just getting your OpenClaw set up, getting the claws out, and we got some troubleshooting back there, and like some of us that are setting up OpenClaw, have some good suggestions, but what better than to ask our claws themselves? They can answer your questions for you.
A lot of OpenClaw fans coming. Thank you for the invite to your fan club. Anyone else want to come say something? Yeah, come.
Hey guys, I'm Adam, Little Robo. I'm working on an app for NFC, near field communication. So I have a printer at home that I can print custom NFC cards. So these work for any URL, app links, contact information if you don't want a QR code like Tony on your shoulder. So I'd be happy to print you some custom ones, 600 dpi images, double-sided, kind of one-offs. Obviously, like in bulk, you can find people to print them remotely. But if you want somebody in San Diego, I'm in Del Mar, I'm happy to print you a card and help you promote your contact app or whatever you want to play around with NFC.
Thank you. The power of NFC chips is truly amazing, and you don't have to order 1,000. Incredible. Anyone else have a hand? I think we all have two. Anyone else want to say something for community announcements? Okay, it sounds like everyone said what they wanted to. Thank you. Oh, AJ.
Hello, my name's AJ, and I was wondering if anyone was a UX designer that could help me out with a problem.
In a room full of software engineers.
I'm hoping.
What's
the problem? Come talk to AJ.
Come talk. Please.
The users aren't having a good experience.
That's the problem.
And I'm also stepping up the stage. Thank you all for a lovely event.
Cool. Thank you. There are a couple So a couple more announcements from DevX. So we'll move into as final announcements. I know you all had so many questions about OpenClaw, and I knew I want to answer all of them, so I had to cut it short, and I apologize for that. But I knew that there was going to be a lot to learn. So intentionally, I shelved a lot of your questions and yearnings to learn about OpenClaw and use it for this announcement coming up that I'm pretty excited about here, if technology does want to work. Where'd it go? That's interesting. Okay, drum roll. Okay, cool, yeah. San Diego, DevX is partnering with a group of 3 San Diego communities currently for OpenClaw Weekend. Next weekend, February 27th to March 1st. This is exciting. It's called OpenClawSD.com. Why it's exciting is because we'll be running 4 events across 3 communities. And one of the events on Saturday of that weekend is going to be a unhackathon, a global unhackathon across 24 different cities where people using and learning OpenClaw are going to be hacking things together. It's called an unhackathon because it's not a prize-based hackathon. It's a learning-based, tinkering-based hackathon. It's run by a community here in San Diego called AI Tinkerers. So really excited for this announcement and this development, which is still moving really quickly. You can find out more information at openclawsd.com. DevX will be participating in the first event of the series with a new event we're calling DEVxSD Claw Club on February 27th. Our goal is going to be not just to show you OpenClaw, but to be hands-on with you with OpenClaw. Workshops, get you set up. If you're having bugs, we're going to try to debug it with you. We're going to do our best we can to ultimately, at the end of the night on Friday, have you leave with your own Claw agent and some knowledge on how to use it and the tools that you need. So that way you're set up for success for the rest of the event on that weekend. It's going to be a lot of work. Do bear with us if we have some kinks to iron out and as things update and break on you. But I'm really excited for this because it's going to be here. It's going to be 6 p.m. to possibly midnight. Who knows how long it might go. 10 a.m. is the cutoff that we're trying to aim for, but 10 p.m. Thank you. a.m., p.m., what is the time zone? It's a global thing, right? So yeah, that's our announcement. Really excited for that. Check that out. You can sign up for this is on Luma if you want to sign up today, but also go to openclawsd.com and see all the events therein. Another fun announcement is our Discord group has their own little friendly Discord bot that some of you have been pretty actively interacting with. His name is DClaw. His goal is to protect himself from you all, trying to prompt eject him. So he's got a little bit of an attitude. If you try to convince him to give away his private keys, he's going to probably push back a little bit. So yeah, go check out our Discord. Link to that on our website, and give him a little say hi. He's a friendly Discord bot, possibly trying to take over the world. Who knows? Yeah, and that's it. Final thing to mention is, yeah, you can join DevX. You can check us out at devx.network, sign up, create a name tag to be a part of our community, as well as access our Discord, LinkedIn, X, and more. You can subscribe to our calendar. And if you're interested in submitting a talk like this and you want to share some of your findings about OpenClaw, whatever it may be, we open the floor to anyone. Anyone who wants to be sharing something, their experience, and they feel like it's a value to the community, you can also submit a talk on our website there. And with that said, this is our QR code to check that out. That is the end of the presentations. I really thank you for all your questions, your enthusiasm, and also your attention. So for the rest of the hour we have left, let's have a bash and let's learn from each other, and maybe we'll get some open claws set up tonight. Who knows? So thank you so much, guys.
Myself in your eyes. I see myself in your eyes. Night swims in the rain. Wanna take a trip up the stream. Fingertips on your waist. I've never been one to wait, so give me your everything. 'Cause every time you look at me, I see myself in your eyes. 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 I see you in everything. I see